I mean, that trade took years to play out. I mean, I was warning about the housing bubble since the Fed first started inflating it in 2002. I started writing my book about the housing bubble in 2005. In fact, the original title of my book, Crash Proof, it was going to be all about the housing bubble and, the coming American nightmare. But I ended up just condensing the housing part into a chapter and writing a broader book. But I saw this bubble from a mile away. Yet it wasn't until 2007 that the air came out. Right? So you had to be patient. And even forgetting about shorting the subprime market, I was just, as an individual, I was renting homes for years because I refused to buy because I thought the market was overpriced. And people used to make fun of me. But, the house that we're in now, I mean, I eventually bought it. But of course, I'd be better off if I was still renting it. But, when I did finally buy it, I bought it for half of what the guy who sold it to me paid for it when he bought it, in 2002. And in the meantime, it was for sale for a long time before I bought it. I bought it for probably 70% lower than the original offer price. But all the time that I was renting, people kept saying, hey, you're throwing away money on rent. I was saving money by paying rent because I didn't overpay for the house. But in the short run, housing prices were going up. Like the guy who sold me this house on paper thought he was making a lot of money until he finally had to sell the house at a loss. Right. But for a while, right, he thought he had a lot of profit in the house because that's what the realtors were telling him. That's what the supposed market value was telling him. But of course, it was all on paper because he didn't sell. And so right now you have a lot of people that are in the U.S. stock market that think they have a lot of profits. They don't have anything. They haven't sold. They have the opportunity to make a profit, but they may not. And, the Fed has actually blown 3 enormous bubbles, right, during this cycle. They blew up a bubble in the 1990s. When that one popped, the market lost half its value. Then they blew up another bubble. That popped in 2008. The market lost half its value. Now the Fed has blown a third bubble. Right? This is the biggest one yet. Now, if it just repeats what the last one did, it's going to lose half its value again. Now, we're at, 22,000 right now. That means 11,000. But even if the Dow goes to 30,000 rather, and loses half its value, that's 15,000. That's still well below where we are now. But the risk is, what if the Fed can't come to the rescue again with an even bigger bubble? What if the third time's not the charm, right? What if it's 3 strikes, you're out, right? People think, the Fed's going to make it a hat trick. No, I think there's a good chance that the next time the market goes down, it goes down for the count. Because I don't know that there's a bigger bubble the Fed could blow. This could be it. This could be the last bubble they ever blow because it's the biggest one yet. And when the air comes out, I don't think there's any way to reflate another one. The only thing they can do is completely destroy the dollar. And if they succeed in doing that, which means they create a currency crisis and a sovereign debt crisis, I mean, a crisis in the treasury market, not in the mortgage market, that's going to lead to something much worse than a financial crisis. But if they don't do that, because they don't want the dollar to, become monopoly money, then we're going to have a much worse financial crisis than the one we had in 2008.
So you brought up the Fed.